Act V. In the Court of the Scarlet King. Filoserve notice. The following document was inserted into this file at a later date, under Containment Protocol Herodotus. Refer to Special Containment Procedures for more information. Verse 145-147. As witnessed by Vaslara Siraj Shirat, 7th Rajmata of the Scarlet Maharaja. And after the waves crested over the spires and palaces of MAMJUL, and brought the city low, and slew in one fell wave the covenant, then for a time, MAMJUL rested, alone and rent, at the bottom of the sea. And there it lay, as the Blackster marched onwards, through the center of Asia, against the forces of the Nalka, and took the world into a great silence. And there it continued to lie, unaware of the events beyond the waters, until the ruins of the once great were happened upon by an old enemy, one who had forgotten its own past. And such were the Deva immortalized in the pages of the document, defiant of their prison of non-existence. And in this way, the song of the Deva began to write itself once more. Section 1.9. Second Covenant. Attached transcript, May 2003. OVCOM. Satellite 15 of the ROUNDERHOUSE array is approaching your location. Phantom. ETA 6 minutes. Phantom. I don't know if we have that much time. A large amount of the security personnel have been killed, and their corpses litter the deck. The Mechanites are nearly at the bridge, only held back by the few remaining personnel and Alpha 1 operatives, who huddle behind the barricades. Phantom. Something's happening. We're getting. What the hell? The deck of the ship rumbles again. This time, the force is coming from below. OVCOM. Citrat. Phantom. Phantom. Subaquatic monitoring equipment is giving abnormal readings. I don't. The ship shudders. For a moment, the Mechanites pause their advance. In the center of the three ships, a circle of red light begins to form in the water, perhaps 10 meters across. It steadily increases in brightness and intensity. Phantom. What is that? A single figure, wreathed in fire, breaks through the surface of the sea, immediately boiling the water around it to vapor that sprays outward. It rises into the air, a blur of red shooting up to twice the height of the Phantom and moving until it is hovering over the deck. Phantom. Visual contact. A red-skinned nude figure, flying above the ship. OVCOM. Mechanite? Phantom. No. No, it doesn't appear to be. It's not wearing any armor, or anything, actually, and I don't see any augments. It's glowing, though. A corona of red light. The Mechanites stopped. They're just staring at it. The figure reaches one hand out of the corona of light, waving it across the dozens of Mechanites on the deck of the Phantom. The vines left abandoned by the Thaumaturgy division suddenly engorge with thorns and violently outstretch, far more aggressive than they were. They wrap around the torsos of a slew of the Mechanites, pulling them to the ground, burrowing through their eye sockets and mouths into their bodies, tearing them apart from the inside, leaving pools of viscera and blood-soaked augments. The remaining Mechanites turn their weapons on the floating figure, barraging it with spears, rifles, and conventional firearms. Several of the flying units take to the air, making a run at it. It lazily waves another hand. They stop in midair, clutching at their implants. The bare skin where their augments are attached turns yellow, then green, then black, rotting in real time. It oozes with pus and disintegrates, the dead tissue tearing away from the living, their implants going with it, and their limbless torsos fall screaming into the sea. It turns its attention to the handful of remaining hostiles. They are preparing a retreat, about to leap over the edge of the ship and back into the sea. Some even make it, but they do not survive the fall, their bodies split apart, vines and roots forming from inside them and tearing through their skin and flesh as they force an exit. Many are simply bisected, their bloody halves falling into the sea and sinking, turning the water red with blood as it pools around the ships. The battle is over. In the course of 40 seconds, the figure has eviscerated over 100 mechanites. Phantom, it just killed them. OVCOM, Citrat, please. Phantom, it massacred them. The mechanites are all dead. No further friendly casualties. It just brutalized them. OVCOM, treat as hostile. Phantom. The figure begins to descend from its hovering position. It becomes clear that it is essentially a disembodied nervous system wrapped in a translucent red layer. As it descends, it begins to take firm shape. Bones grow, muscles knit themselves into place, though the figure never grows skin. Standing well over 3 meters tall and with large horns on its head, its skin is inscribed with symbols and markings that pulse to an inaudible rhythm. As it reaches the deck of the Phantom, MTF Alpha 1 operatives fan out from behind cover, supported by security personnel. They surround the figure in a circle, guns drawn and all pointed directly at its head. It does not react. Phantom, wait. OVCOM, what? The figure looks up, raising a hand in greeting. Wilcox, Lieutenant Graves. The figure, temporarily designated SCP-001 King, surrendered to security forces and was detained in a secure holding cell aboard the Phantom. Interrogations were a failure. It insisted on speaking first to Dr. Pandora Galenus. Dr. Galenus was brought into the secure cell 4 hours after they awakened from their astral projection and were debriefed. Addendum. Attached transcript, May 2003. Begin log. Galenus enters the cell. The room contains a number of automated gun turrets encircling the ceiling, all aiming squarely on SCP-001 King's bare skull. A thick pane of glass separates the observation chamber from the entity. Galenus, Lucian? SCP-001 King. Perhaps once. Now, I am so much more. Hello, Pandora. Galenus, what happened to you? SCP-001 King. I made the decision you could not. Apotheosis. Escalation to a higher truth. Galenus, you can't be him. His body is still lying in the psychotronics lab. SCP-001 King. The material body. I am the immaterial body. The soul. Galenus, the astral projection, made physical. SCP-001 King. I have reached out and become one with something so much greater than you or I. Galenus, you became the Scarlet Maharaja. God, Luce. How could you be so stupid? SCP-001 King. I did what I had to do. And now I see the whole board, laid out in front of me. The total mass of our history, beginning to end. Galenus, you were the one who was supposed to make sure this didn't happen. SCP-001 King. The situation changed. I am a soldier. When you see armies trampled, entire cities rent to ash, nations burned, Aram made the wrong decision for the right reasons. Only a madman would see what is coming and elect to do nothing. Galenus, we should have never interfered with the diva to begin with. Goddammit. SCP-001 King. You shouldn't have, but you did. I am the result of the new covenant, whatever I am. Galenus, what kind of deal did you cut? SCP-001 King. The diva realize they are limited by their current means of existence. They can only interact with the world through the Foundation. I am the vessel. Their power flows from the Scarlet, to them, to me, to you. All is one. Galenus, and what about you? I thought the Maharaja needed to be dreaming to ensure KORAR survives. SCP-001 King. I do. And soon I will leave, to fall into the endless sleep demanded of me. so that your allies may continue to exist, so that they may support you in the coming storm. But before that, arrangements must be made. Galenus, what fucking storm? SCP-001 King, I see past, present, and future, Pan. But that comes with a responsibility of care. The Council will understand what I mean. I apologize. Galenus, you can't tell me. Shocker. SCP-001 King, I am bound by the same magic that bound the Rajmata to silence. I have inherited the curse. Galenus, enough magic to bind a god. SCP-001 King, a prophet. The Scarlet is free to tell me the truth, and it has. I simply cannot share it with you. You must discover it yourself. Galenus, what arrangements, then? SCP-001 King, the Diva requires certain concessions for their support, for teaching our thaumaturges their magic. Chief among which is being immortalized in our archives. Something that will last beyond the Song of the Diva, even as a new verse is written in our bodies. Galenus, you want us to ally with them? SCP-001 King, we do what we must to survive. The deck of the Phantom is littered with the bodies of those who didn't. The Mechanites are too dangerous for the Foundation alone. And they are nothing, compared to what rests on the horizon. Galenus, I can't, no. We'll find another way. One that doesn't betray our principles. SCP-001 King, the decision is the Council's to make, but we have already been trading information, support, assistance. Galenus, I can't take this to the Council. I was insistent this doesn't end up like a Moni Ram, and here we fucking are. SCP-001 King, rid yourself of these petty insecurities. You can do as I have done. You can become something greater than a cog in the machine. You can shape our future. I need someone I can trust. Pandora. A new Rajmata. Pause. SCP-001 King, you answer to no one, only yourself. My will is your will. A chance to mold the society to how you wish. No judgment, no commitments to modern biases and bigotries. A perfect society, beyond gender and scarcity and suffering. Isn't this what you wanted? Galenus, no. No. What the fuck is wrong with you? No, this isn't what I wanted at all. Yelling, this isn't how any of this was supposed to go. Silence. SCP-001 King, disappointing. You might have been legendary. Pause. SCP-001 King, go now. Take the terms of my covenant to the Council. See if they accept the help I want to give them. They understand the threat. Galenus, how did we get here, Lucian? SCP-001 King, you led us here. Galenus, what? SCP-001 King, you let yourself be pushed, pulled, by the forces that surround you. A vessel with no agency of your own. You have been used. Pandora, used and thrown away. Galenus, you said I was a leader. SCP-001 King, Lucian said you would rise to the occasion. You haven't yet. Galenus, what am I supposed to do? SCP-001 King, take charge before it's too late. Pause. SCP-001 King, goodbye, Pandora. In a flash of fire and red light, SCP-001 King demanifests, leaving behind nothing but a few dead leaves. Galenus stands, staring at them for a few moments. Then they turn and leave. End log. 3 days later, on the 3rd of June, 05 Edict number 2130 was released. Dr. Galenus was not invited to the deliberation session or to testify. Attached document, June 2003. Council vote summary. Yay. 05-01. 05-03. 05-05. 05-06. 05-09. 05-10. Capital X. 05-12. Abstain. Capital X. Nay. 05-02. 05-04. 05-07. 05-08. Capital X. 05-13. Additional vote. Administrator. NA. Status. Approved. The Foundation is to establish formal diplomatic channels with the Devic Empire, and occupy the role of the human element in a future Devic covenant, when it is established. The exactitudes of the covenant will be worked out in a manner to benefit both parties and ensure mutual security. The MAMJUL KORAR initiative's role is to be transformed into a diplomatic one, with academic study of the Diva allowing a better understanding of their culture and society as they pertain to the Foundation. SCP-001 King, formerly Lieutenant Lucian Graves of Mobile Task Force Alpha-1, currently Scarlet Maharaja of the Devic Empire, is to serve as a channel for the thaumaturgic powers of the Diva, allowing them to be utilized by trained Foundation thaumaturges. The Devic Empire is to support the Foundation in any future confrontations against hostile anomalous empires. This vote is taken and this measure is enacted in the absence of the Administrator, who historically has handled diplomatic commitments of the Foundation. Addendum. Attached transcript, June 2003. Begin log. Desai and Galenus are seated in the latter's office, looking over documents. Desai, this is utterly fucking insane. Galenus, I feel like I'm going insane. Desai, they can't possibly be serious. Can they? Galenus, A75 margin. Razor thin. I just don't understand what they could possibly be thinking. Desai, they want to ally with the baby sacrificing demons. Galenus, they're not, ugh. Galenus sighs. Galenus, this was a mistake. Top to bottom. Desai, what do you mean? Galenus, I had an academic responsibility. I was stupid and naive. There was no way this was going to go any other way than us weaponizing the Diva for our purposes. Just like Amoni Ram. I failed then, and I failed now. Desai, hey, whoa, relax. This isn't your fault. Galenus, it is, RJ. I need to take agency. Desai, how? Galenus, I really don't know yet. Silence. Galenus, I'm trapped between a rock and a hard place. They are expecting me to enforce this, to continue leading the initiative into something I can't possibly support. And they did it all without so much as asking me. Desai, you're still the project lead. You can demand an audience. Galenus, and say what? Desai, demand a fucking answer. You were the one who saw the Rajmata's visions. They don't know what they are agreeing to, you do. Galenus, God. The Rajmata. Desai, snake bitch. Galenus, no. No, not really. Desai, don't give me that protecting her people crap. We do that every day and we do it without sacrificing our baser principles. Galenus, it's more than that. There are two groups here. One thinks the Diva are all insane murderers and the other one thinks that's a risk we have to take. Desai, and you? Galenus, neither. Both. Caught between a rock and a hard place. I've seen the visions. The Diva are not morally pure, and letting a culture with the morals of 3,000 years ago out into the modern world is obscenely careless. But at the same time, they are not inherently evil, And they don't deserve to be destroyed. Desai. So that's what you mean by a rock and a hard place. Galenus. Yeah. Man, RJ. The way that Lucian was talking, I'm scared. Desai. Of what? Galenus. That's what scares me. I don't know. And it's not just him. The Rajmata, even 05-1. They all seem utterly convinced we're about to crash into something and I just don't know what, and that terrifies me. Desai. We'll get through it. We're the Foundation. We always do. Galenus. Yeah. Yeah. Desai. Still, I think that you should talk to the council. They sit in silence for some time, sorting through a huge stack of debriefing documents. Desai pulls one from the stack. It is a black envelope sealed with tamper tape. Desai. What's this? Galenus furrows their brow, grabbing it and inspecting it. Galenus. I'm not sure. It's from Lucian? Oh. Oh, crap. I forgot about this. Desai. What? Galenus. I asked him to run a query on a term that kept coming up in our research, since he had a higher clearance level than me. I didn't think he'd actually do it. They slit open the envelope, breaking the tamper tape. They pull out the document inside and begin reading. After they finish, they sit in silence for nearly a minute. Desai. Dora? You okay? Galenus. Motherfucker. Galenus abruptly stands up. Desai. What does it say? Where you going? Galenus. To do what I should have done a long time ago. End log. Attached transcript. June 2003. In attendance. Begin log. Operator. Secure Lee connection established. Incoming signal from the FRS Lillehammer to Overwatch command. The Lee space activates, cycling through a number of locations before settling on a large, vast concrete room. The circular meeting table is surrounded by 13 seats, all of them filled, and contains a small aperture in the center. The only other object in the brightly lit room is a singular metal chair, folded and leaning against the far wall. Researcher Galenus' avatar appears in the center of the table. 05-1. Dr. Galenus. It's nice to see you. You requested an audience? Galenus. What the hell have you people done? 05-1 raises an eyebrow. 05-3. Excuse us? Galenus. This edict. You talked so much about not wanting this to end up like a Moni Ram. And here we are. 05-5. You misunderstand. This is a success for us. Galenus. In what world? 05-5. We have access to a school of thaumaturgy that's an effective countermeasure to mechanite augments. We have a better understanding of the nature of these gods and the threats they pose. And the Diva are indebted to us. Galenus. Wait, what? Indebted? 05-5 stiffens. Galenus. What is he talking about? The room is silent. 05-1. The details are still being worked out, but we will be strongly considering SCP-001 King's offer for a new covenant in the coming days. Galenus. I had a feeling. I've spent more than a year studying them. They're not evil, but this is not going to go how you think it will. 05-1. I'm afraid that's a risk we're willing to take, Doctor. Now if you would just calm down. Galenus. But this doesn't explain why they'd be indebted to you. The covenant is a mutual agreement. It benefits them as much as it benefits you. We're getting the magic. We're getting the tools to fight the mechanites. What are they getting? 05-1. Pandora. Galenus. What do they want? They've been written out of history, out of reality itself. They don't exist in any material sense anymore. They didn't until we started looking at them. And once we stop looking, they'll fade away again. They want something permanent. They want someone to write them back. Galenus abruptly looks up. Galenus, oh, Jesus Christ. 05-8, figured it out, eh? Smart kid. 05-1, Actus, please. Galenus, you're making a deal with the devil. 05-1, I assure you, Doctor, I am acutely aware of the risks we're taking. Galenus, yeah. You've been aware of them for 60 years. 05-1 stiffens. 05-1, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Galenus, Lucian used his credentials to run a database query for Blackster. See what I was locked out of. I expected copies of my own records. And yet there it was, a database of verbal cognitohazards dating back to the original Memetics Division, World War II. Top of the list, first record, Blackster. You've known about it. I have no idea what the hell you know, or how, but you've known something about all of this since 1945 that you never told me or him or anyone. 05-1, what? Galenus, don't play dumb with me. I know you're smarter than that. 05-1, I swear to you, Doctor, I have no idea what you're talking about. Only someone with level 5 clearance could have ordered those files sealed. 05-6, we're not the only ones with level 5 clearance. A short pause, then the council bursts into overlapping chatter. 05-12, could he have? 05-2, we haven't seen him in years, I don't think. 05-9, but why? 05-1, raised voice everyone. Please. Doctor, I can promise you we'll look into this. But in isolation, it really doesn't mean anything. There are 1,000 ways they could have randomly stumbled across something like that. Galenus is silent. 05-1, Pandora? Galenus, you stood there, in a Moni Ram, and assured me that you were a historian, that you wouldn't let this be exploited. That you understood. What the hell happened? 05-1, I have people to protect, Dr. Galenus. Galenus, yeah. I've heard that before. But nobody seems willing to tell me what you're protecting them from. 05-1, yes, I did. Another occult war is brewing on the horizon, Dr. Galenus, and I'm just doing what we can to avert it. Galenus, what? 05-1, you're a historian, Dr. Galenus. Tell me what the occult wars are. Galenus, occult wars, from the Latin root occulta. Hidden. Secret wars of the anomalous world, occurring in parallel with mundane conflicts. But I don't understand. The last occult war was nearly 100 years ago. 05-1, which means the next one has had 100 years to stew. Or longer, honestly. And this time the threat won't be Nazis with anomalous arms. It will be something so powerful, the only term we have for it is reality bender. Galenus, you're talking about the Blackster. 05-1, we all have our roles to play. Yours is to follow the orders I give you. Silence. Galenus, am I going to stay on as project lead? To execute this new directive? 05-1, yes. You are expected to, at any rate. Galenus, yeah. I thought so. Then consider this my immediate resignation. 05-1, from the MAMJUL KORAR initiative. Galenus, from the Foundation. I'm not gonna be complicit in you weaponizing the anomalous. 05-1, I strongly urge you to reconsider, Dr. Galenus, after the Manhattan Project, a number of scientists at Los Alamos couldn't handle the reality of what they've done, what they'd helped to create. They couldn't live like that. 05-1, yes. I was there. Galenus, for all your talk of making sure I didn't end up how Aram did, you let Lucian turn into that thing the moment it was useful for you. I never should have gotten involved in this. And now I'm cutting myself off. 05-1. I see. That's disappointing. Galenus, you want to. You're a historian. You understand where this road ends. 05-1. I have obligations. A higher calling. My principles can't be unimpeachable, because then people die. Galenus, used to justify every Faustian bargain in history. 05-1 shrugs. 05-1. We're all slaves to something, Doctor. Lee space connection to Site 01 terminated. End log. Per 05 Edict number 2130, and with a majority vote of the Overseer Council, the Devic Empire has been designated GOI 019 and classified as an ally of the Foundation. Additionally, the Foundation and the Devic Empire entered into a formal covenant, a mutually beneficial anomalous agreement binding both sides to each other. This covenant is contingent on several factors, and may be broken off if either party feels it has been wronged or betrayed. The Devic Empire will surrender knowledge on thaumaturgy that is capable of being utilized against hostile threats. The Devic Empire will remain in the astral plane, and make no attempts to forcibly breach through to the material plane. The Devic Empire will not intentionally expose their existence, the Foundations, or the anomalous to non-veil societies. In return, the Foundation will act as the human arm of the Covenant, affecting the material plane in the stead of GOI 019. A small number of personnel will be permitted to become temporary hosts of Diva, thereby significantly escalating their thaumaturgic ability. Additionally, as the Devic Empire has been ontologically scrubbed from baseline reality by the Blackster, the Foundation will take a leading role in restoring them. While they will not be given physical form, interviews with Diva and the Rajmata indicate that the presence of a physical, written record of the Diva's history will significantly stabilize KORAR and begin restoring the vast historical records in MAMJUL and across the Indian subcontinent that were obliterated by the Blackster's Damnatio Memoriae. As their presence in baseline reality retroactively increases, so will the thaumaturgic power they can supply to the Foundation. This effect will apply retroactively. As the document is extended and completed, more ancient artifacts and ruins of the Diva will be unearthed. This anomalous effect has been classified as SCP-140, and applied to the current most complete record of the history of the Diva, this document. Under Containment Protocol Herodotus, SCP-001 Jade has been separated into 5 acts, each covering, in parallel, a broad period of the Diva's history from the Song of the Diva, and the events leading to their rediscovery, and the file has been designated the primary vector of SCP-140. It is recommended for perusal in its redacted forms by all cleared Foundation personnel. As more personnel go through this document, the more the Foundation's thaumaturgic capacity increases. As the MAMJUL KORAR initiative shifts into its new goals of training thaumaturges in Diva magic, global Foundation priorities are to be shifted towards the investigation and approval of thaumial class anomalies, particularly those effective in combat applications. Project Olympia has been expedited. Global threat level has once again been elevated to Canuck 5. Project Forerunner Triad is to dedicate all possible resources to identifying, locating, and securing the final remaining city, the Nalka city of Black Adatum. Section 1.10. Conclusion. Warning. The following sections of document SCP-001 Jade are restricted to clearance level 5/01 Jade. Please enter valid security credentials to continue. Does the Black Moon howl? When its name is twisted against it. Validating. Welcome, 05-1. Following the ratification of the Foundation Diva Treaty and Dr. Galenus' immediate resignation, a helicopter was dispatched to extract them from MKF-01 for processing and amnesticization, with Dr. Carl Abera serving as the interim project lead. Before they were extracted, Dr. Galenus was observed to enter the psychotronics lab aboard the Hafkeen for a period of 45 minutes. The event was only noticed by security staff after Galenus had been escorted by MTF Alpha 1 operatives into the helicopter and departed the Phantom. However, the recording device associated with Lieutenant Graves' LSAP array was still active. Attached transcript, June 2003. Begin log. Galenus opens their eyes. They are in the throne room of the Citadel. Once again, the city is in an orgiastic sway. Drumbeats ring throughout, but with new, joyous words. A new verse of the Song of the Diva is being written. The Rajmata is seated on the throne, draped in luxurious shawls and silks, layered with jewelry hanging around her arms and horns. She looks up at Galenus. Rajmata, Galenus. Hello. Galenus, spare me. I've resigned. You're not gonna be seeing any more of me. Rajmata, that is truly a shame. For all your faults, I thought you were a remarkably innocent soul. Unfortunately, wars are not kind to the innocent. Galenus, I would say so, seeing what it did to your children. The Rajmata's expression does not shift. Rajmata, what have you come here for? Galenus, an answer. Rajmata, just one? I'm sure you have many questions. Galenus, honestly, no, not really. Everything I'm wondering has been just about cleared up. No thanks to you. Rajmata, I am not going to apologize for doing what I did to ensure the survival of my people. Galenus here. Yours would have done the same. Galenus, they did. Rajmata, yes. Yes, they did. You cannot fault me for this. The beauty of the covenant is that it is made with the consent of all parties. I did not force Greves Giras or your overseers into anything they did not want to do. They simply saw the truth. Galenus, what's that? Rajmata, that the only way we are going to weather the coming storm is together. My entire nation drowned after falling under the sea. And standing from where I am, I can once again see the tides are rising. Galenus, a new occult war. Rajmata, no. The same occult war, the first war. It never ended. This was merely a 3,000-year-old sea sapphire that expired the moment you unleashed a Moni ram from its sandy tomb. Galenus, the Council, Graves, you. You're all sure that the Blackster and his god are still out there, biding their time. Rajmata, I am. Galenus, why? Rajmata, I know because my master whispered it through the cosmos. I imagine your overseers had a similar experience. And the Blackster is not the true threat. His god is. The Black Moon. Galenus, the Black Moon. Where have I heard that before? That's a fucking Foundation passphrase. The overseers were lying. They do know something. Rajmata, this, I cannot comment upon. Galenus, well, none of this will matter in a bit anyway. I'm sure the Foundation will amnesticize me before I so much as step foot on land. Rajmata, then take this time to ask anything else you were left wondering about. Silence for a moment, then Galenus laughs. Rajmata, yes. Galenus, nothing. It's just that, it's the most trivial thing, but I promised one of my researchers that I'd ask you why the three-prong army was called that. We couldn't figure it out. Rajmata, a promise is a covenant. It must be kept. They are named as such because of their insignia. Galenus, I didn't see any heraldry in your memories. Rajmata, it was as powerful a symbol as Blackster is a name. Not to be used lightly. But it has been a long, long time since that era. The Rajmata claps her hands. An attendant approaches, carrying a curved black dagger, reflecting the light around it. It is sharp to a point. The attendant offers the dagger to the Rajmata, who grasps it, and begins taking off their robes, their back to the Rajmata. She leans down and, with a firm hand, carves a symbol into the tender flesh of their back. Galenus, oh dear God. The attendant turns, showing their bleeding back to Galenus. Their flesh is marred by a wide circle, jutting into which at equidistant points are 3 lines with sharp tips facing inward. Galenus, that's the founder. Rajmata, goodbye, Dr. Galenus. For what it's worth, I suspect this is not the end of your story. She reaches a hand out, pointing at Galenus, and the projection terminates. End log. Dr. Galenus was in a state of extreme distress as they were escorted to the helicopter, and had to be sedated before being secured for transport. The sedative wore off approximately 1 hour after takeoff. Shortly thereafter, the helicopter went silent and disappeared from Foundation radar. This was the last recorded transmission. Attached transcript, June 2003. Begin log. Galenus, ha. Wha? Where am I? They shake their handcuffs, but are too securely strapped in to even move. In the cockpit, the pilots do not react. There are 3 soldiers at various positions throughout the body of the helicopter, all armed and their faces covered. Galenus, what? Fuck. Galenus leans forward. Galenus, what is this? You're not Alpha 1. Your patches aren't like Lucian's. Unknown. Perceptive. They turn their attention to their other side. A figure in a suit is sitting in the other aisle of seats, facing them. He appears to be in his 50s, with a short beard and close-cropped gray hair. He speaks in an unidentifiable accent. Administrator, I suppose someone owes you an explanation, don't they? End log.